Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ecoffee with Experts. I'm your host, Matt Fraser. And today we're going to be talking about SEO project management strategies to stay organized and on top of your game with none other than Michael Ramirez. He is the founder and lead SEO of Search RPM, located in Austin, Texas. Search RPM is a full-service SEO and SEM agency that helps local, national, and international clients in a variety of industries to grow their online presence and achieve their marketing objectives through search engine marketing and optimization. Michael has a Bachelor's of Science degree in advertising from the University of Texas at Austin School of Communication. When he's not working on search marketing campaigns, Michael enjoys traveling, fitness, whiskey, and exploring Austin. Michael, thank you so much. Pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah, right on. So, hey, Michael, you've had an interesting journey so far. Who were you as a kid, like in high school?
That's interesting. You ask. Mainly because I spent some time with my family in San Antonio this past weekend, and I had a lot of time to kind of reminisce of the old days of who I was as a kid, the things that I enjoyed, the good family kind of experiences we had when I was a kid. And yeah, I think I liked spending my time outdoors. I was a pretty athletic kid. I spent my time just playing basketball outside my house. I was a football player, and I think I started in like the 5th grade, played all the way through high school, decided not to go the college route. I think after high school, I was just kind of done with it. I felt really compelled or really drawn to the academic side of my life that I didn't really do a good job of in high school and in middle school. So I really wanted to just kind of focus on that and realize that, in order to get out of the neighborhood that I, kind of was raised in, which was a small kind of inner city, where, folks just kind of really just stay and really, settle in, which is obviously it's a different environment, but I kind of had plans just to kind of get out of the neighborhood and kind of build my own path. And I think that was kind of the objective beyond high school. But yeah, I think all of that, the sports aspect, like many kind of entrepreneurs, you could draw a lot of good, lessons from that in terms of what hard work and dedication, can do to really help build that discipline to build a business and to really grow it and scale it and to be pretty resilient. When you get knocked down on the football field, you got to get right back up. Same thing with a business. If you lose a deal or you have to really push the pedal and step on the gas, then it's time to go, and you really have to really use that same determination. But it's kind of a interesting path.
Yeah, the mental aspect of being in business is it's not for everybody. It can be a challenge. You can get your ass handed to you and lose clients or not close a sale, or depending if you went through the Great Recession in 2008, or the COVID, have your entire business fall apart. So resiliency, I think, is a very good quality to have, and indeed, I can see how being involved in sports can give you the self-discipline and the resiliency to apply that to business. So how did you get started in digital marketing then? When did that journey begin?
I think so that started really in college. So after high school, I attended UTSA in San Antonio, went there for 2 years, transferred out to UT Austin. So finished, got my degree from UT Austin, advertising degree, as you mentioned. But the very last, one of the few last courses of the program was in interactive advertising. And it was around 2008, 2009. And that's literally where I first got introduced to SEO. And so most people won't, I guess now it may be common in advertising classes to learn about SEO. I was one of the first few to really hear about it in college, really, because that's when things were really kind of taking off. And I had a digital marketing course. He introduced SEO. I'm like, what the hell is this SEO thing? They taught us just kind of how Google has this secret algorithm and how it ranks websites, and advertisers are moving from traditional to online. And this is going to be the next big thing. So interestingly enough, while my other advertising colleagues, were focusing more on the traditional side. I think this class of like digital marketers, quote unquote, at the time, it was a class of around like 5 to 7 students, like max. Everyone was afraid. Everyone was afraid of this new like landscape, this new digital marketing territory. Everyone wanted to make commercials and write ad copy for billboards and stuff. And I and a few other students were kind of like treading on this new kind of scary path. But and as you mentioned, the recession, it was right around that 2008, 2009 time where I was entering into the job market. And so most of my friends didn't have jobs. And guess who did have the jobs? 5 to 7 kids who focused on digital marketing. And that's literally when I jumped into my first internship following my or leading up to my graduation. And I started doing SEO for an advertising agency in Georgetown, Texas, which is really small. It's a small company. And I started off doing link building in a real small, dark room. we called it the cave at the time. And so literally like learning about this thing about SEO and jumping from college into this first internship and learning about link building. And they literally had us doing like directory submissions. And so they would buy these directory lists. And we just go through one by one and submit that. School. And then we would, so old school. And we would do reciprocal link building too, where we email people and be like, hey, we'll swap links if you give us a link and we'll give you one back. And that's literally how I just jumped into SEO. We had a manager and a consultant in California. This consultant in California trained under Bruce Clay. And he would he went to the training course out there in California, and he would relay the strategy over to my boss. And my boss would be like, let's build more links. Let's get after it. So that's typically where it was. And we had a copywriter who would do some of the on-page, and I would do like the keyword research, heavy link building. The technical aspect of SEO was fairly like new at that time. It wasn't really, I don't think there was much emphasis like there is now inside of on the technical SEO side, because now there's just so many different platforms. There's different, there's different things to consider around that. But certainly link building was a lot easier. And the content side was really important around that 2008, 2009 side.
Wow. What do you think are some of the most important skills an SEO specialist needs or should have?
Yeah. I mean, when I started out, I think some of the most important skills were just like my ability to just adapt to new information. And because it's like, especially now, I mean, even I'm speaking like when I came out as an intern, this was something completely new to me. Like there were very few books around SEO. There were very few guides. I mean, I learned like this hour class in college and I'm supposed to go in there and help to do SEO for some of these clients and help keep them on board and keep them paying this agency that I was working for. I'm like, wow, you're asking this from a college intern at the time. So
that's amazing.
I think just the ability, just the ability to stay open-minded and to be able to intake the information and transfer that into like action. I think that's and then the action doesn't really have to be that big. Like, for instance, when the consultant from California would relay information down to my boss, she'd be like, okay, we have to find new links, because after we ran out of the directory list, it'd be like, how do we find more potential links? So that was my challenge. It was like, okay, I have to adjust to this new information. I had a pretty easy job. It was like, go to the website, get a link, request it, and then go to the next one. This one was like, okay, find new ones now on the internet. Find ways we could find reciprocal links. And so it's like, where do we find those websites? Oh, we need them locally for our local home builders. Right. And how do we find them? How do we source them? What's the type of emails that we send out to potentially get these? And how do we help other companies who don't know SEO understand what we're trying to do here? So I think a lot of it was based around that. It's like specialists need to be able to like adjust and adapt on their feet as they go. And I think even now, I mean, fast forward to where we are today and how SEO is more competitive than ever and Google's way smarter than ever. So that old link stuff doesn't work anymore. And identifying opportunities around not just building links for link authority, if you would, or domain authority or anything like that, but looking at specific links as like business opportunities as well. Which potential links could give us good domain authority potentially because they have good domain authority, and which ones could also lead to like potential business partnerships. Like, we're not potentially, linked up with. So for instance, like for one of our products that we just developed, Visio, it's a SEO project management system. We're looking for potential partnerships, and not just for link purposes, but like what other CRMs can we integrate our data with that could also give us a backlink from their website, but also could lead to meaningful traffic. So it's also that, just not just being just looking at the objective, but thinking creatively about a problem.
So how do you think SEO has changed over the years? Like, what are some of the major things that you've seen change from when you were doing it then to doing it now?
Yeah, I think, the competitiveness has definitely changed. I think I've seen a lot of like adoption around companies that are doing SEO. It's interesting because I have these job alerts on LinkedIn around the time I was looking for a gig, and plus I love to know like who's looking for SEOs out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing you see some of the top companies in the world looking for SEOs. Like, they are, and they see that SEO is extremely important as part of their marketing strategy, whether they're a product or e-commerce site. Like, they understand that SEO is just not like a tactical thing anymore. It's a strategy. It's a growth
it's a channel.
Strategy.
It's a legitimate channel. It's a legitimate channel. Do you think it's been more legitimized then?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's helped with, people like you who talk to experts, and experts come, on, and they're able to identify like how they're using SEO as a channel to drive growth. I think having other experts in the industry work for top tier companies legitimizing SEO. I think a lot of that's kind of creating like just positive authority for SEOs, and me in my career specifically. I've gone from an intern all the way to like I was working as a VP of product marketing at an education company, mainly because SEO was my underlining like backbone of my marketing, like
your
toolkit. And SEO just really helped me drive that understanding of like how to market on the internet, and not just from an SEO perspective in terms of organic growth, but like also how I could apply those skills to like video. How I could apply those SEO kind of underlining principles to other content marketing. I think those they transferred really well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the best way for someone to learn SEO? Is it to do an internship nowadays? Is it to take a course through someone like Bruce Clay? I don't even know if he's offering it, or LinkedIn Learning, or some reputable place, obviously. What would your thoughts be on that? Is it launching your own website and about something you're interested in, and these are various ways people have mentioned: launching your own website, or doing work for a local business or a nonprofit for free. Do you have any thoughts on how should someone dip their toe into SEO if they want to learn how to do it?
Yeah, no doubt. So my nephew at one point asked me, he's like, and he knows nothing about SEO, and he's like, I'm interested in the things that you do every day. He's like, how can I learn? And I legit like I kind of started him off the way I did, indirectly. I learned, Bruce Clay's model through the consultant that we had. I told him just go to the source, because Bruce Clay does have some really good fundamental courses on his website.
Oh, for sure.
And, with COVID, people would fly out to California and get those early courses, but now he offers them online through his like learning portal. And to be honest, like it's very fundamental learning in terms of how to think about SEO more than how to do the tactics. Anyone could really do the tactics, but without like understanding like how search engines work, what is a search engine, like how to structure SEO campaign from starting off from the fundamentals, like technical SEO, content, and how to think about link building. He does a really good job of, he's a grandfather of SEO. And I know there's a lot of great courses out there, but if you've never heard of SEO and you're absolutely just want a good, healthy, fundamental base, I think it's a good course to start. And then you could start kind of working your way up and getting into, I would say, Slack channels, learning from other experts that are in the game already. There's one Slack channel I'm a part of. It's been pretty good in terms of, keeping up with the latest trends. It's a traffic think tank. It's been a good source of just
traffic think tank. That's is that a Slack?
Mm-hmm.
A Slack group?
It is the Slack community. They also have like an online learning modules as well. It's a little bit more, advanced SEO stuff and experts in there. It's a pretty solid group. Shout out to them. I'm kind of like in stealth mode in there. I go in there just to get my information, get out. I need to be more of an active contributor, but it's a good place to just kind of go get my information and just kind of run with it as well.
Absolutely. So in other words, you would say taking courses from reputable people, as well as becoming a part of a mastermind.
I would say so. Yeah.
Think Traffic Think Tank and Bruce Clay.
Right.
Do you think someone? Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No. And to your other point, it's like those are really good learning. Like tactics from a theory and conceptual. But to your point, like build, you kind of have to have your own website. You like tweak. You tweak and kind of build on your own to really understand just the inner workings.
To really understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely recommend, either buying a website from, if like Flippa, or, if you can invest in the site that's already kind of working, or build one from the ground up, or like find a cost-effective way to do it in a way that will be worth your time, to where you're not just playing with the website, but you're seeing potential outcome of rankings or revenue from ad, generation or ad clicks and stuff like that. To make it worth your time.
To make it worth your time. Absolutely. Do you think someone should learn HTML in today's as a foundation so they can understand what an H1 tag is, an H2 and H3, and what a title tag is? Because to just jump into it and then figure out, well, what is this? What language is this? They're talking about optimization title tags. What the hell is that? What the hell isn't it? Like my wife doesn't know what an H1 tag is and doesn't care. So I'm just saying, but it's kind of it's our own language, if you will, meta descriptions, meta titles, and all those things. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. I would tell someone to take a quick, there's a course on LinkedIn Learning that's like maybe an hour long on HTML, or even if you went to w3school.com and took the quick, for free HTML course about how to so you can understand the page structure and what those things mean and the importance of them. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think before, I thought HTML was just like a foreign language, but now it's just so common. I think it was like it's been around for a long time, and a lot of systems now just work. Where we had to have, we had to get our hands dirty back in the day to really kind of manipulate some of the HTML. I remember logging into like source files and stuff and changing it in Dreamweaver and then uploading it to FTP. So I kind of had to by necessity. But to your point, it would certainly help to have a working foundation of like certain programming languages. A big one is just like PHP with WordPress, but underlining like HTML, I think could be pretty valuable. So they kind of know their way around, but it's certainly not for them to be experts or anything like that, but just to kind of
not at all
familiarity.
Familiarity with it.
Totally.
Now, SEO is something that's process driven. At least it should be. Then again, anything should be process driven, PPC and social media, whatever the case may be, developing processes. So, one of the most important factors to consider when you're planning and implementing an SEO project or campaign.
Oh, yeah. No, I think some of the most important things, I would say this, like understanding just kind of what resources you have at your disposal.
Okay.
I think, in order to have a successful SEO campaign, it's really understanding like how much of that work, how much are you going to be able to get done? I've come across like certain clients with, websites on, let's just say like a Squarespace, like platform. And it's like, I know automatically we're going to be limited on things that we could actually do to the system from a technical SEO point or from an integration standpoint. So it's like, even though they may have a good budget, it may just be like, okay, well, what resources do we have at our disposal? Do we have Do we have an internal resource team, like in-house, to where this company, not just a Squarespace example, but like any other business has like an internal resource team? Is my team handling it on our end, or my developers going in and being able to like manipulate code? Are we just kind of limited to things that we have no control over, like some of these more static kind of CMS systems? So I think more than anything, factors, what type of resources, and based on that, it's kind of like setting expectations early on of like what we could actually get done. Because I think we're certainly just going to be confined to that, really.
Yeah. And SEO really, people have said there's a 3-prong approach to SEO, and you mentioned one of them: technical SEO, on page, and off page. And you really need to have a way to keep track of that. And I know that some people have their own secret sauce and developing their own SOPs, if you will. And you can have a project management software that documents your SOPs. And did you find that you did that as you went along? Oh, this works. I should put this into an SOP. I should make this a step, like optimizing the title tag. That should be a step, because that's a pretty big deal. Even though back in 2008, I mean, who the hell knew, right? We were all just learning. But now, you can say without utmost certainty, even the audience listening to us, we all know that a title tag is very important to optimize. Very important. And the H1 tag and H2 and H3s and certain and so forth. And we have tools now that tell us what to do. In a sense, if you're going to use tools, like nobody's blind to Surfer SEO or Page Optimizer Pro or tools like that.
Yes.
That tell you what to do. But still, you need to, if you're going to continue to take on projects, you need to have a process developed. What were some of the ways that you developed your process and kept track of the things that needed to be done, whether it's backlink building or on page and doing audits and everything? Did you start off with like a Google Doc and just like bullet points and figuring out, okay, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, just documenting as you went, or what was the process of developing your process is what I'm trying to ask.
Right. No, totally. I think, early on, I did realize that there was a process. Early on, so once a client comes on board, it typically follows up. We typically follow that up with like a questionnaire leading to just like specific logins or things we're going to need for that to be successful, just to be able to get into their website. So we have a secure page that we sent them to give us a lot of those logins. And then second, we typically start with our a technical SEO audit, and in that process is a sheet of just essentially the way we used to do it was just a list of 25 checkpoints, SEO, technical SEO checkpoints. Yeah. And we would run the client across each one of those checks. It was really just like a manual check. We'll just kind of look at like canonical tags to make sure that pages, have their proper canonicalization. Make sure that they have proper redirects. Making sure they're SSL, just like real basic stuff. Yeah. And typically under that process, that usually uncovers like bigger issues if they are there. Just weird redirects on the pages leading to certain content not getting indexed, deeper dives inside of Google Search Console to look at particular sections of the website that are getting more traffic versus others, and realizing just kind of why that's happening. Maybe something's blocking the robots.txt. Maybe JavaScript isn't properly rendering on specific pages. But we do have a process for that, but it was typically very manual. The second kind of or third stage there would be kind of content related. And typically that involves optimizing pages that currently exist on the website and then developing a content strategy for new pages that don't currently exist. And then the third phase would just be more so, we wouldn't really do like link audits or competition analysis. It's just more like internal like audit of link assets. So understanding what the client has as their strong suits that's linkable, that's link worthy content. So a lot of the times it's link building could be pretty challenging, but a lot of times clients, especially on the product side or the SaaS side, already have like things, features within their products that could be good linkable assets or good ways we could transform a product page into, let's just say, like a FAQ or a specific visual for some of the product specifications that are good link opportunities, for instance. But yeah, I think after having a lot of this, strategy kind of down in play, we need to house it somewhere. It's like, okay, that's the process. But I think early on in my career, when I first started the agency back in 2012, it was hard juggling a lot of this stuff. Like some of this stuff, quite honestly, would fall by the wayside or just fall through the cracks. Either because the client forgot to follow up on something, or it was something that just like, oh, where did that? Why didn't that get done? 15, of the technical audit get done out of the 25-point audit didn't get done, and it's just because there's so many things involved in SEO, and SEO takes a village to really be effective, and it only works when it's done most of the time. SEO doesn't work as a strategy. It works as like when it's implemented across the website and other factors like Google, crawls a website. And then those are things we really can't control somewhat. You can influence somewhat in terms of crawling, but not really. They're going to do what they want. Google is going to do what it wants to do. So,
for sure. Their algorithm updates are definitely going to, I think they're getting better and better at, ensuring that the user gets what they want, which is quality content. Like you can't put out crap content anymore and expect it ranked. I mean, that's just complete nonsense. If you're trying to do old school 2008 content creation techniques, are just, if you give the user what they want, then but like we said, you're talking about the algorithm. You can't change the algorithm updates.
No.
But if you do, if you make concrete content, quality concrete content creation, a viable part of your marketing strategy tied to SEO, I don't think you can go wrong. But in coming back to that, as you said, you have to develop processes, and you have to find somewhere to store those processes. And, I know lots of people try and use Asana, or they try and use ClickUp, which is my favorite, but I heard about something called Rike just recently, which is another, which is owned by Citrix. But anyway, in regards to SEO, there's a real specialty set of tasks that need to be done. And I know you alluded to it earlier, that you've developed a platform that is actually built just for SOPs for SEO. How did that come about?
Yeah, totally. So
how did you get the idea for it?
And I think the idea just came from being that consultant where things did kind of fall through the cracks sometimes. And I wasn't able to keep up with a lot of the demands from clients and a lot of the workflows that were being implemented. Like I was that guy, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy anymore. And I realized that the process is definitely key. And having all these Google Docs and sheets and, just scatter kind of brain was really difficult to keep track of what needed to be done. And I think project management systems are good, but they're not built for SEO. And meaning that there's good SEO tools out there like SEMrush, and they provide a lot of really good data. And what happens is we have to pull that data out into Google Sheet, and then we have to pull that into Asana and into our Basecamp or whatever, system you're using.
Yeah.
So the idea for me was like, how do I make sure that I stay on top of my client work? So I need a crawler that scans my clients' websites, gives me those insights, allows me to project manage those insights, but also loop in the right team members to fix those things. And sometimes those team members are going to be different. They're going to be a developer, or it's going to be a writer, or it's going to be a PR person or project manager or client itself. And I've also found that clients ask me, hey, can you tell me what was done last May or something? And that was really hard to kind of go back and look at yes, that was done last May, but no one was ever tracking the progress of did that actually work? Did it help our rankings? Did it drive us anything? So the plan also was how can I build a tool or system that when I complete something, I'll have a electronic paper trail when those things were done. I'll have the right resources there, and we could possibly also attribute like traffic increases to when those specific things were done. Yeah. And so for me, I wanted just to create this, the house like a lot of my just project workflow, and for me, increase transparency with the clients that I have who don't know anything about SEO. They don't. Sometimes they were like, I don't know what we're paying for, but we know things are working. And it's just like, okay, well, I mean, it's very common in the space for folks like not to know what SEO is, but no, they're paying these big retainers and like, hopefully something's happening. But I've seen, agencies where you don't share a lot of the work that's being done. And I mean, to help agencies, we do a lot of hard work. There's a lot of work that's involved with SEO. And so how do we show that value? And how do you not only show it, but continue to show that value to keep those retainers and then to hopefully acquire new clients to build on that. So that was the whole idea behind the product, was like, I need to solve this issue of just like, stuff falling through the cracks, and I need a better way of operating my business. And a product came out of that by, wanting to take care of my own problem first.
So it's pretty neat that you develop, but I can understand that one of the first questions that someone might be asking is, well, why not just create a list of things that need to be done that can just be used in a project management software, as opposed to using a dedicated project management process solution to use? Does that make sense? Like if someone's saying, okay, well, Michael, why didn't you just put this stuff all in Asana or why didn't you just put this stuff all in ClickUp as opposed to actually having a dedicated platform? And how can an agency like leverage the tool that you've created?
No,
absolutely. I don't know if that makes sense, and I'm not trying to be rude. No,
totally does.
As Canadians,
not at all.
I mean, everybody knows I'm a Canadian. We try to be Canadians try to be as rude as little as possible. So we're just like that. But I'm trying to say, like, what is the value proposition of the software you've created that you would want to communicate to our audience that they should check it out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's a great question. I get that, asked all the time. And I think it's a great question. And that's like the question I get from agencies, like, well, we already have a project management system. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's great.
That's what I'm thinking they're going to say.
Totally.
So I want to give you the best opportunity to like provide the value of because I know I've seen what you've created and it's great. And I would recommend it, but I'll let you communicate that value.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, there's no one way to properly do what we do. And if you have a process that works and it's making you money and your clients are happy, then by all means, like this product is probably not for you. I would say that the benefit of this product is the ability to just instantly like scope out a project. So for instance, inside the tool, I could scan a prospective client's website and immediately just get work that needs to be done and show them how much it's going to cost for me to get to do this actual work and start that work tomorrow. Whereas and that just, if you can imagine just the time, if you're an agency and you have a sales team, probably they're not SEO experts. They need to find a way to start
9 times out of 10
automated, right? They need an automated and fast way to start building out these proposals and selling the work. So it's a new customer acquisition strategy. Okay. And I think that's been helping with the appeal for some agencies to be like, we want to use the tool for that reason. Another one is for agencies so beyond the project management side, this is, which I'll get to here in a second. The second part is the customer acquisition part. So increasing, I think the movement of SEO becoming more and more like popularized, where people are familiar with it and they don't just want to be kept in the dark anymore. And I'm finding that more clients are like, well, what am I getting? What am I doing? Like, where's the transparency?
What are my dollars paying for?
What are my dollars paying for? And as market shifts, people are cutting back on budgets. How can you justify your value to the client without having anything properly documented to the T?
Yeah.
And I'd be able to show, hey, this thing we worked on last month has led to this particular increase in traffic, or this is actually working. Right. So attaching work to outcome, I think, is going to be really important. And a lot of tools don't really measure that. Project management systems are going to be hard to do unless you know literally every little detail that's happening within your project management system, or every single month, and everything's documented properly, which is typically not the case. I think with SEO campaigns, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and your tool goes out and scans the website and automatically tells you within a few minutes what needs to be done. That's the brilliance of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found anyway. Like it builds the processes for you right there. You don't have to go into SEMrush and figure out and take it into Asana and take it into whatever, Google Sheets to Asana or whatever. It's just you punch in the URL, scans the site, tells you all the things that need to be done, and your process is already built for you. So it saves time.
Yes.
And then gives you something that you can actually then go to a business owner and say, hey, all this needs to be done. This is how much it's going to be.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But you were going to further say, I hope I didn't take you off topic.
No, not at all. No, I was just going to make the point around just the development around SEO campaigns, and the process is around the thinking. The way I think about SEO campaigns has a lot to do with it's a past, present, and future process. We need to know what we did in the past and have electronic paper trail in terms of things that have actually worked. It's present to know what type of work we're constantly working on now and what needs to be done. And in the future, as algorithm updates come, Google usually does a good job sometimes of announcing future updates that are going to, like the mobile update. They gave us they gave website owners a good time frame to go mobile friendly to make sure that
you talking about mobile
website, mobile and so right, and we operate in these different areas, right? We need to know what's happened in the past, what was done to a website, what was already done, so we don't duplicate our work. What another SEO kind of worked on. If a client comes to us and says, "Oh, I just fired my SEO consultant, we want to work with you now." Well, what did they do? Sometimes they don't know that. They don't know that answer. They don't know.
No, they don't.
Did they totally screw up your SEO? You don't know.
Or did they do nothing at all and charge you for
nothing?
It? There's nefarious companies out there that do that.
There's so many.
Business. Yeah.
There's so many. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there are. I've had experience with them.
I'm on LinkedIn as a SEO consultant. I get pitched for SEO services. So I'm just there's people just pitching everyone just about these services. But you're right. They're just nefarious actors out there.
What about, so you can keep track of that, but what about annotations in Google Analytics? Is there any way to have you thought of a way to, I don't even know if it's possible, Michael. I'm just thinking outside of my brain right now. If there's if when you add a note automatically to your platform, could it create an annotation in Google Analytics? That would be That would be amazing.
Man,
I don't even know if that's
manager.
possible. I don't even know if that's possible through Google's API. I have no idea, man. But
no, I think I would give me more ideas. I'll take them all. I mean, we'll find out if it's possible.
Find out if that's possible. Holy smokes!
I think data is certainly the next level of integration that we want to incorporate. Because it's extremely important. I think Search Console is something that I'm looking at as kind of the primary data source to attribute when tasks were completed and then data outputs from Google Search Console. That's still kind of in the works, but I definitely see the value of that. But certainly there is a point to where folks could see the things that were done inside our system and cross-reference inside of Google Search Console. To see just kind of those outcomes. But certainly that's something definitely in the future. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other integrations in mind for rank tracking to integrate with platforms? Have you explored anything with SEMrush or Ahrefs or however they say it, Ahrefs, whatever, in that regard, or even Rank Ranger or Rank Watch? Any thoughts on that?
I think I think the ability of this tool, the nice thing about this tool is that it doesn't have an overload of data and features.
Okay.
And what I realized from early interviews for folks who I just, were in the industry, people just use so many different tools anyway. And there are tools that already figured that ranking part out. That I don't have any. I don't want to touch that space right now. I think I want to perfect this one, and folks are already using great tools out there for rank checking. But I mean, maybe we'll consider it. But yeah.
I thought maybe that the two could talk to one another. That's all I was thinking. Not developing your own, but getting the two talking to one another. I don't even know if it's even necessary, Michael. So
totally. No, I think
thought.
No, yeah. And the thought there is pretty valid. I think around other features, like SEMrush does a really good job of having their own like crawler, auditor.
Yeah.
And so in their audit system, they allow you the ability to export the audit information to other tools. So talk to other tools. And I think one of them's Trello, and I think another one is like a Zapier integration. So we're working with Zapier now to build integration for our tool. So
right on.
Other auditors or other auditing tools could import their data into ours, so they have it here and they have it in one place. And essentially, once you have data from SEMrush, Sitebulb, or Ahrefs or wherever, you have a management system now that automatically talks to them. So you're constantly getting these new audit information housed in one place. And that's something that you can't get from a project management system like a Basecamp or something. That'd be really difficult or complicated to do that.
It would be.
Right. So we want to be the hub of just like all of the best SEO intelligence in one place. That turns it into actionable like task that you could loop your team in immediately and charge for that as well.
And charge for that and make money. Yes. Because at the end of the day, it's about making money. Yeah.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Michael, what's one big takeaway you want people to get? Our listeners to get from this episode?
Yeah, I think it's the fact that SEO takes a village. As effective SEO takes a solid development team, writing team, project managers, link builders, and those are all going to vary depending on clients, of course. But I think when clients have a better level of transparency, and that's something your agency offers and your competitors don't, that's a clear separator in terms of what your value is in your offering in SEO space. Absolutely. So I think that just having that clear transparency in a really just dark industry where sometimes you don't have that complete transparency, but there is a lot of hard work being done. You want to clearly show that value. Absolutely.
How can listeners connect with you online if they want to?
Yeah, I could. I'll throw my email out there. It's Michael at. You can reach me at Michael at evisio.co. It's evisio.co.
Okay.
And I'm on LinkedIn as well, so you could reach me there, and I could send you.
Search for Michael Ramirez.
Michael Ramirez,
LinkedIn?
yes.
Okay.
Michael Ramirez.
Are you active on? Are you active on Twitter or anything like that?
Not really. Yeah, I'm not huge on Twitter, so I didn't.
Yeah, most people. Most
Hmm.
guests that I talk to aren't. It's mainly LinkedIn and email, so that doesn't surprise me. So fantastic. Well, we'll make sure to put those links in the show notes, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure having you here. Right on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Matt.
Right on. Okay, don't go anywhere because I meant to tell you. I'm going to stop the recording.